Hey, you guys, welcome to Teresa and Tonya Unplugged. I'm Tonya Spanglow.
And I'm Teresa Gallegos. Hello, ma'am. I've missed you.
I've missed you too. Every time I see your face, it's like comfort.
I know. This episode, we're going to be answering questions that we receive on all of our different social media platforms. And I'm just going to jump right in. So, leading right off the bat, I had got a question from somebody. I get them all the time, but they want to know how we met, how long we've been friends for, because they say it seems like we've been friends for life. And how long ago did we meet? And what has made us stay friends?
So we met under circumstances, under false pretenses. We met. Teresa
Trauma
was,
bonding?
yeah, trauma bonding. I think that is what it is. I think I
Yeah.
was pit against Teresa and vice versa. She was put against me. I
Yes.
was told that she hated me because we had similar platforms. That it was like it was a competition because we both were on TikTok at the time, and our following was growing at the time. And so
Yep.
I was told that she didn't like me because I had a Southern accent and I talked too fast, and I was a fast talking Southern blah blah blah. And I don't really know. I don't think I believe that wholeheartedly, but when you're told that by someone that you think you're trusting
Yes.
because they're a member of the community and we were a part of the same community,
Yep.
and so you just trust someone. That's the first mistake that we made, was trusting the wrong person. And so
Yes.
we met on a cruise that the only thing good to come of that cruise is that I met Teresa on that cruise. And I met some other
Yes.
people too that I still am in contact with and love them as well, but Teresa being the main one. So we
Yes.
met under circumstances that kind of trauma bonded us. Um, and we've just remained friends. I think the thing about me and Teresa is we are miles different. We have different lifestyles. We're completely different people. I am fast talking and she is more zen. She's more calm, and I mean, I'm from Oklahoma and she was from California, and we are opposites. But I think the thing that's kept Teresa and I as close as we are is we both know that we have a good heart, and we both know that we have good intentions, and we're both genuine. I think that is what, when you find a true, genuine person in this community that doesn't have any ulterior motives, it is rare. It
Mhm.
is very, very rare. And so I think we just clicked from the get-go. I mean, from the get-go, from the jump, from our first time we met, we just clicked, and we have just stayed clicked ever since then.
We have. And, the fact that we were both pitted against each other, I almost backed out of that trip because I was like, I'm a person that doesn't want any stress or trauma or anything in my life. And I'm so glad that I didn't, because we did meet. And I will say, I think one thing that also made us bond and stay friends was that we had seen that there was so much chaos within the weight loss community, and that people intentionally got together to kind of stir up stuff. And Tanya and I both, after that cruise situation, we kind of united with the mindset of, you know what, we're going to show people how it can actually be done, that you can actually make true lifelong friendships and connections that are positive and healthy and nurturing and not toxic, because that's what we've seen a lot of that. And so, even though we've made mistakes at times and trusted people in this community that maybe we shouldn't have, we have both grown together and learned and grown through what we've gone through together. And I mean, I love her. Just we see each other. Even if we haven't seen each other in almost a year. April will be a year. She was at my wedding. Literally, her and Bobby and Sherry were the only people outside of my family at my wedding. And that speaks volumes about how I feel about Tanya and her heart and her soul. And so, when you find that soul shine in
Mhm.
somebody else that just resonates, it's not work. It just comes very easily. So again, like Tanya said, that's the biggest thing that came out of that whole cruise drama that we don't really speak of, actually.
Mhm.
But
No,
that
but
answers
honestly,
that question from somebody.
yeah, that is us being as honest as we can, which is how we always are. Like that, I can be myself 100% around Teresa and her
Yep.
vice versa with me.
Yep.
We don't have to watch what we say. We don't have to watch what we do. We don't have to watch our mannerisms. Like
Yep.
she fully accepts me. I fully accept her. And I think that that's what has created this such a special bond that we do have,
Yep.
and we're on the same path. We're just doing it differently, and we're just different people. But I think a lot of times too, like I will say this and then I'll have to explain a little bit, but the bariatric world is toxic. It is
Yes.
toxic. We've talked about this. Every time you see a group get together, it ends in some kind of, it's just toxic. It
Yep.
is so toxic. There's so much judgment or there's so much things that go on that don't need to go on.
Inappropriate things. Like, I
Very
think a lot of
inappropriate.
that what we've seen is that a lot of people have spent their lifetime being very overweight or marginalized, cast aside, not getting attention. Then all of a sudden, you have people who are starting to feel themselves a little bit. They're starting to come out of their shell. They're starting to have a body that they feel better about, and they're starting to just feel better about themselves. But what they do is they come together, and for the most part, they tear each other down, they compete, they get all clicky, and then like say bad things about each other, and they go on social media and they blast. One thing about Tanya and I, we do not air our dirty laundry on social media. When things have happened, we make like a video if we have to clarify,
One
and
and
then we
done.
move
We're one
on.
and done. Yep. We
One
made one
and
video about that cruise and then we were done.
yes.
We made
That
one video about our adventures that we did a while
yeah,
back and then
yep.
we're done. We're done
We
talking
don't
about it
try to
and we move on.
we don't try to capitalize and position ourselves based on other people and their drama or things that are happening in the community. You see, even like when we've traveled together, we don't subscribe to the drama. As soon as people start talking negatively about anybody else,
We're out.
Tanya and I bounce. We're out.
We're
People are
out.
like, "Uh-oh, what did we do?" A lot of times people have said, "Oh, they think they're better than everybody else." And
Yes.
that is the furthest thing from the truth. What it is that we protect our heart and soul and our peace because we know we both been through so much and worked so hard to get to a place of peace that nothing is going to rock that boat. And so
Mhm.
if it takes other people thinking, "Oh, they're divas. Oh, they whatever. They don't want to be a part of it." You're right. We don't want to be a part of it, not because we're better than, but because we've worked hard to elevate ourselves in that way where we're happy and content. And the most important thing in my life is Mike and my family, and the same thing for Tanya. It's Bobby and her babies. And nothing else should ever compromise your peace of mind. And so if you are in the bariatric community, the weight loss community, just know you don't have to subscribe to that stuff in order to make connections. You can actually seek out people who have your best intentions because they are
Mhm.
out there.
Yeah. Okay, I've got a question now.
Yes, ma'am.
Losing weight, this is from Chris Melissa Chavez. Losing weight after 1 year post-op. I have about 25 pounds to lose. Did I miss my window? And so I think that that's such a it's such a controversial topic that people think how she just said after 1 year post-op. So people think that you're going to lose the bulk of your weight in 1 year. And that's false because
Yep.
everyone's different. Depends on what you weigh, depends on what surgery, depends on your lifestyle. There are so many factors coming into that. Every time that I do want to put this in there, every time you see Teresa and I answering a question, we're answering it from personal experience. We're
Yep.
answering it because we have lived it. And for me, I can only attest to my journey. So if you had gastric bypass, I had gastric sleeve. If you had duodenal switch, I had gastric sleeve. Like everything is going to be different for me. And so I think that a lot of times we're told that we have that honeymoon phase of 12 months, 1 year, that you're going to lose the bulk of your weight. You're going to change your entire life. You're going to become a different person. And all of that's going to happen within 1 year's time. And so when it doesn't, the question of like what she just said, have I missed my window? Have I failed? Absolutely not, because no one can put a timestamp on when you're going to reach maintenance mode, or even if you ever do reach maintenance mode. For me, I'm 6.5 years in, and I'm just getting to maintenance mode, if that makes sense. And I've had two skin removals to help me get there.
Yep.
So I think that you have not missed your window no matter how many years out that you are from any kind of bariatric surgery. There is no window. I think that everyone is different.
I love that response because this always comes back down to the fact that there is no cookie cutter form for weight loss,
Hmm.
period. You have your own medical, mental, emotional, physical background, and that is going to drive your weight loss journey. So I would definitely say when you come into this, don't listen to all the chatter, all the things that tell you you have a certain time frame or
Hmm.
that this is the goal number to be successful. No, success is different for everybody. It's defined by your own definition of what success is. And by no means did I lose the bulk of my weight in the first year. I had my surgery in 2018. I started my journey around that time. And I'm just now feeling like where my body is where I want it to be. And it's been
Yes.
years. Like if it
Mhm.
took you a lifetime to get to that size, it's going to take you a lifetime to, like, it's going to take a long time to physically change, but more importantly, mentally.
Mhm.
it's going to take a long time for you to catch up. So be patient and don't compare yourself to anybody else.
Okay, so here's a good question for you, Teresa. I have another
Yes.
one. So this one is from Sherry G. Let's talk about the loose skin and it making you be afraid to date again.
Oh
That's a
my,
great question for you because that's Teresa. Like
yes.
she has that. She got that
Yes.
on
So
lockdown.
I had weighed over 600 pounds for about 25 years. I missed my 20s and my 30s. I did not get to date. I had not been physically intimate with a man since I was 21, 22 years old. After losing all the weight, I was absolutely terrified. I had the apron belly that hung down below my knees. And I was like, how is anyone going to accept me if I struggle with this loose skin? I will tell you this, though. I've had 3 rounds of skin removal surgery. However, I met my husband after just having the abdominoplasty surgery. He loves me regardless. And I will tell you, a woman reached out to me the other day and said she has a little 1 inch scar from surgery on her tummy. And she was on a third date with a man and he saw it and said, "That's disgusting. I can't date a woman who has scars on their body." And
What?
she was heartbroken. And my response to her was, he just did you a solid because he eliminated himself. You just learned that you did not need to waste your time and energy on a man or a person who has an issue like that. The reality is that when you are in your 40s or 50s or whatever and you've been overweight, you're going to have cellulite, you're going to have scars, you're going to have stretch marks, you're going to have loose skin. Any person who is worth it is going to accept you regardless. Now,
Mhm.
what I would recommend is if you're going to start dating, start building up your mindset. I started working on my mind, telling myself, I'm beautiful, I am confident, a man is going to find me and I'm going to find him and he's going to love me for who I am. And that's really, you need to hyper focus on what is good about you. Maybe you got some stretch marks, some loose skin on your arms or your belly. Well, guess what? Emphasize your makeup, emphasize your hair, do things that make you feel beautiful
Mhm.
and carry that into your dating world. Like hyper focus on that vibe of being successful and having lost the weight. Try not to hyper focus on what you're afraid of because all that does is highlight it for you and make it that much harder. So, hope that helps.
But listen, back to the person that reached out to you that the
Oh
guy
yeah.
was like, "Listen, you better drop that 0 and get a hero."
100%.
You
I
that's not the one. I can assure
I
you.
felt so
Uh-uh.
bad for her. I was like, "Wait a second. You have a 1 inch scar from a surgery." I think it was like a gallbladder. It was like some kind of emergency surgery. And
Mm-mm.
she has little stretch marks, but the woman is gorgeous. And I was like, "What?" I
Mhm.
can't even imagine. Mike literally calls me his Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas because Sally is completely stitched together
Mhm.
and she's gorgeous. And he
Yeah.
literally like tells me how beautiful I am inside and out. And that's the
Mhm.
kind of person that you need in your life. If that man sees a little scar like that and is turned off, guess what? He has the problem, not you. That's a him problem and not
Yep.
a you problem.
Definitely not the one. Okay, you got a question?
I do. Team wants to know how in the world do we let ourselves get so overweight?
Oh, I love that question. How in
Yes.
the world did we let ourselves get so overweight? Probably the same way you let yourself get so rude. Sorry. That's just the
I'm gonna
facts right
spit
there.
out my drink.
I'm just saying, like, probably the same way that you didn't learn how to comment nicely to people, you know?
Yep.
You reap what you sow. So for me, I had no willpower. I ballooned up and I gained about 100 pounds with both of my pregnancies, and I never lost it. And then I ate myself to death, basically. I'm a binge eater. I'm a food addict. I loved food more than I loved anything else in my life because food never let me down. Everything in my life had always let me down, and I would always turn to food. And so I guess you would say I was lazy. I didn't exercise. I had no desire to exercise, but that's just the life I was living at that point. I mean, it doesn't really mean I was lazy. I was raising kids. I was working every day. So yeah, day in and day out. Before I knew it, I looked up and I was over 400 pounds. It happened. It happens to a lot of people. It happens
Yes.
to a lot of people, but that doesn't mean that you can't change it. And so that's really what we're here to talk about. We're not really here to talk about how we got to 430 pounds because it sounds like you're repulsed by that. Um, we're here to talk about how we changed from that, how we turned away from it.
So I'll touch on that right there. So the fact that what Tanya just said is about how you've changed that and what I learned from weighing over 600 pounds versus now, what I learned was that I didn't have the tools to cope with life, with all of life's stresses. Okay. I didn't have a healthy roadmap to living a life that was conducive to to being a normal weight and having a healthy mindset. And so what I learned was that in order for me to be successful and be happy and healthy, I need to have some kind of structure in my life. I needed to have a routine down that focused on eating healthy and making healthier versions of my favorite foods, not cutting everything out, not
Mhm.
subscribing to all that restriction and diet nonsense. I needed to develop a routine that worked for me. And that was getting some kind of a system down, knowing about when I eat, when I hydrate, focusing on those goals, what I protein, water, and things like that. And then I needed to incorporate movement that worked for me. So for me, losing the weight, I've lost for about 460 pounds. It meant learning to create a lifestyle that supported my goals of being able to move my body and living a longer, happier, healthier life. My whole life, I was always told that I was lazy, I didn't have the willpower and all those things. But for me, what it was that I didn't have the knowledge. I didn't
Yeah.
know how to live a healthy life. And so as soon as I started learning, I started embracing that lifestyle and now it's become normal to me. These habits and behaviors and thought patterns, those are automatic, just like binge eating before was automatic for me.
Mhm.
I've replaced those behaviors with healthier ones. So
Mhm.
that's what it really is all about. It's not about all the trauma and all the things that you've gone through. Everybody has different circumstances that lead to obesity. It's
Mhm.
about how you manage it and how you learn and grow through it.
Well, and lots of times too, like for me, it was like once I got to a certain point, I didn't think there was any use because I didn't believe in myself that I could lose the weight. And so
Yep.
I just kept getting bigger and bigger, you know?
Yep.
And so I just kind of, it's kind of like I had gave up mentally and physically. I had just
Yeah.
given up on myself. All right, I have another question. This is Brandy. This is not even a question. This is just a statement. I am beyond thrilled that the podcast is back. You both are so amazing. Thank you so much for keeping everyone motivated. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you. I love that.
And then I've got one from Lori. She says, how do you deal with boredom eating and boredom grazing once you've lost your weight? How do you deal with this? So replace that boredom with something else is one of my biggest tips. And sometimes it can be some of the simplest things like chewing gum. For me, it's the chewing, it's the hand to mouth, lots of things. It's the like we talk about sitting down and watching TV a lot because that's a trigger for me because I did that hours and hours and hours a day. I would sit down and watch TV and I would eat the entire time. So it was I wouldn't even really pay attention to what I would eat, but I would look up and I'd have 2 bags of Doritos eaten. I'd have a whole bag of Funyuns ate, a whole can of Pringles, like whatever the junk food in the house was at that moment, I would look up and I would have all the junk food ate. And so lots of things it can be like getting up instead of sitting down and watching TV, if that's something for you that's aided in your weight loss or you're getting bigger, not weight loss, the opposite of that. Get up and get out of the house and go for a walk. You can journal. You can journal your thoughts down, and then you can go back to that journal and be like, huh, look, I'm feeling the same way. I'm wanting to eat again. Let's figure out what is this pattern that's happening with us. But lots of times you can chew gum and that will get that satisfaction kind of like chewing that will go away. There are lots of things that you can do to help with the boredom grazing, but I would say get up and try to do something. Redirect your thoughts. When you're thinking about food, try to think about something else. Redirect that. Redirect that action that you're wanting to do, which is eat.
This episode is sponsored by BRUISE Juice.
BRUISE Juice is a topical recovery formula designed to support post-surgical healing.
Made with arnica and vitamin K, it's formulated to help reduce the appearance of bruising and support the body's natural recovery process.
It's free from harsh chemicals, added fragrances, and unnecessary fillers, making it ideal for sensitive post-procedure skin.
If you're preparing for surgery or currently in recovery, BRUISE Juice can be part of a more intentional healing plan.
You can find it at bigbuttsnolies.com/shop.
Support your recovery from the outside in.
A quick thank you to Recovery Haven, one of our trusted recovery partners.
Traveling for surgery requires more than booking a procedure. It requires a recovery plan.
Recovery Haven offers private accommodations and nurse-supported post-operative care in a structured, professional setting designed specifically for cosmetic surgery patients.
From transportation logistics to monitored support during early healing, the focus is on safety, discretion, and comfort.
If you're planning surgery and want your recovery handled with the same level of intention as your procedure, visit bigbuttsnolies.com to learn more.
And follow at Plastic Surgery Recovery Haven on Instagram to see how high touch recovery is actually done.
Because healing isn't an afterthought, it's part of the outcome.
Which those are all really good points. And I will also highlight the fact that that is going to be different for every person, depending on where you are in your journey. In the beginning of my journey, I needed a lot of replacements for hand to mouth. So I was hyper focusing on in my car, I had all the sugar free candies, all the sugar free gum. I had the waters. Like I was constantly hand to mouth. I was journaling multiple times a day, trying to understand my addiction and why I was going hand to mouth and what I was trying to fill that void with. And then as I've progressed now, I still will have mints every once in a while, but now I've learned that I'm doing activities with my hands. So I'm learning to do embroidery now. I journal. I'm doing like scrapbook journaling. I'm reading. I'm doing lots of things, baking. I'm doing things to keep myself busy.
Mhm.
In addition to the walking and the meditation, all of that. But I'm saying like as I've gotten further along, I'm 8 or 9 years into this journey now. It's evolved where I don't need the little micro interventions hundreds of times a day like I did at
Mhm.
600 pounds. Now it's like maybe when I'm driving, I'll sing instead of eating something, or when I'm home and I'm feeling stressed about something, I will get up and I'll start cleaning or I'll do another activity like Tanya said. So it really just depends on where you are in your journey, but don't feel bad if you are in a place where you need to literally intervene with yourself hundreds of times a day, maybe every few minutes. And then
Mhm.
hopefully over time, it'll evolve to maybe every few hours or maybe every few days. So we
Yeah,
grow as we go.
it does, it evolves, and everything about your journey is going to evolve, like she was bringing up in maintenance mode. So if you have made it to maintenance, then you've implemented all of these things already,
Yeah.
you've made it there pretty much. And so like she said, it's gonna be different for everybody, but, I mean, that's a really good question because lots of people for me, it's staying busy. Lots of
Yeah.
things revolve around staying busy, like, your mind can get the best of you if you don't try and stay busy. Your habits, as far as, like, sitting down, as far as getting complacent, as far as being sedentary, like, get up and try to stay busy. For me, I will get up if I've got a dish in the sink, and even if it's just 2 glasses, I will wash them, dry them, put them away. Do your counters, do your floors, do your laundry. So much of my house is way cleaner than it used to be because I used to sit and I was sedentary and I did watch TV all the time. Now I've replaced that with other things.
I was going to say, you can ask Tanya and I both. What do our husbands say to us both all the time? Are you ever going to
"Are you
stop
gonna sit
moving?
down?"
Are you going to
Yeah.
sit
"You
down?
gonna sit down?
No, sir. I
Sorry."
like to get up. Like people literally like you don't have to do that. Like I'll get up when the family's together and I immediately will start cleaning up plates and washing dishes and putting food away. And they're like, "You don't have to do that." No, I get to do that. I need to do that because my mind was so focused on that seat constantly. Even planning to go somewhere, my mind was on, and Tanya, I've talked about this a million times. If she had to go to a ball game or we had to go to an event, your mind is road mapping from
Yep.
car to seat and then from seat to however long you got to get from point A to point B. And so your mind has to evolve with that over time. And before you know it, you're going to be like not wanting to sit down all the time. And I honestly, like when I sit down and I'm done for the day, I'm like, I am done. I am tapping out. I am tired because I've been going all day. And I love that because my life was spent on my booty,
Yep.
on my booty, right?
So, do you have
Constantly.
another question?
Oh yeah. Ms. Amy 55 says, "You girls look amazing. Can I ask what health issues did you resolve with your weight loss and what do you still cope with?"
Mhm.
So,
So, I was pre-diabetic. Anytime I was at the doctor's office, I was pre-diabetic every single time. So, I had high blood pressure. I was on 2 different high blood pressure medicines, and I had high cholesterol. And so, I mean, of course, joint pain, my back was out, my knees, I mean, my feet, it's all that. But as far as, like, actual diagnosis, I mean, those are the top 3 that they were like, "You've gotta lose weight." Every time I was at the doctor, it did not matter what I was there for, it revolved around my weight. Whatever it is, we always ended up talking about my weight in some form or fashion. Everyone wanted me any doctor I ever saw was like, "Girl, you're young. Like, you're too young to be this obese. You know, you've gotta do something about your health. You're gonna have a heart attack. You're already pre-diabetic. You're gonna become diabetic." Things like that. So but yeah, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and pre-diabetic.
Yes, and for me, I, was on 9 different medications. I had had 2 heart attacks, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, pre-diabetic. I was having issues with endometriosis. I have scoliosis. My obviously all the things like Tanya said, both of us have issues with our feet, our knees.
Mhm.
My hip had rolled out of socket, my arm had rolled out of socket. Within 2 years of starting my weight loss journey, I was removed off of all of the 9 different medications. I have had heart scans and things like that in order to go through plastics. You have to do that. And the doctors have all said your heart looks amazing. It's healthy and strong. My cholesterol, my blood pressure, all of those things are good. And I want to say that when you start a weight loss journey, you tend to hyper focus on all the pain. And I get that. 600 pounds, Tanya, 400 plus pounds, moving your body is agony. There were literal moments where I thought my neck was going to just pop from the pressure of weighing over 600 pounds. It felt like there was an elephant on my back, on my shoulders. And every step that I took, I was like, this is what's going to kill me. I'm going to
Yep.
drop. And I will tell you that, yes, while you face medical challenges, obviously work with a doctor, and do what they recommend as far as movement goes. But the more you can learn to just focus on what you're capable of doing and try to shift your mind away from the agony, I promise you, both of us can attest to this, that over time it gets easier. Moving my body at 600 pounds and even at 5 and 400 pounds was really, really hard, but it's the dedication and the consistency. 10 steps across my house from front to back eventually turned into a block and a half mile and a mile and 5 miles. So
Mhm.
over time, you can do it. And then the pain will lessen as long as you're managing it and working with your doctors, obviously. But it can get easier. And so currently, what we still struggle with, I have scoliosis, so it causes me some pain, and I have agony in my foot. I have like neuropathy and things like that. And one of my feet, obviously, they were flattened from weighing over 600 pounds. So I deal with that kind of stuff. And then my hip, still from weighing over 600 pounds, hurts me. However, I will take this pain any day. People say, "Oh, doesn't it hurt? You didn't have big boobs, hurt your back." Weighing over 600 pounds hurt my back. Weighing over
Yeah.
600 pounds was killing me. My life circumstances now, I have improved my quality of life exponentially. There is no
Mhm.
comparing. So I will take this body and this form and these aches and pains over what I was experiencing before.
Well, and also that's something that, we don't talk about that a lot. You can't reverse the damage you've done to your body. Is the
Right.
thing. Like, Teresa
Yep.
and I both have flat feet. We have flattened our feet. I literally have broke the arches in both of my feet down. My
Yep.
feet are so flat, and then I wore flip-flops all year round. I wore flip-flops because I couldn't tie my shoes. I have another friend, like, her and I wore flip-flops together, and we thought it was funny. We would joke about how we had flip-flops on in the winter, and now I think about those conversations and I'm just like, we were aiding ourselves and like we weren't taking anything serious. But yeah, so I can't change the fact that now I don't have arches in my feet. You're not gonna change the fact all the abuse you did to your back and your joints and your knees. My knees kill me. Like my lower back is out right now. That's from coughing. I've coughed my back out. But I wouldn't have had that problem had I not been so overweight. And so it's those things that it's the abuse that you've done to your body and to your heart and things like that, to your organs that you cannot reverse that. You can't reverse that damage, so it's there. But we're so much healthier now. We feel so much better now. We can get around more now. I just wanted to touch on a little saying that with sports, with anything in life, all the things when you think about it, like we're a sports family, so that's why I said sports. You think it only revolves around sports when you say the more you do it, the better you'll get. That we told our kids that. The more you do it, the better you'll get. That is the same thing is true with your health. Same thing is true with trying to lose weight. Same thing is true. It doesn't matter if we're talking about making food, meal prepping, taking our vitamins, drinking our water, eating our protein, working, working out, walking. The more you do it, the better you're going to get. It's going to get easier each time you try. It's going to get easier. So just keep that in mind.
100%. And I will say this too. If you've been severely overweight for a really, really long time, and then you probably have not gone to the doctor as often, you probably haven't been taking good care of your health, like I have, like Tanya did. Um, what happens in the first few years is that as you start to lose the weight, the toxins that are stored in your fat cells and everything, they start to get released. I got really sick several times in the first few years. I had 16 kidney stones. I started health issues that I didn't even know were there started to emerge. And this is because as you peel back those layers of weight and you actually start to focus on healing and getting healthy, you're going to have health issues that are going to be identified that were maybe pre-existing before. And what you need to do is just keep working toward them. A lot of people have said to me, I'm afraid to lose weight because I don't want to know about this, or I'm afraid to lose weight because all the loose skin is going to hurt or be ugly. You need to not come from a place of fear anymore. That's what happens. You need to come from a place of empowerment and knowing that you can handle anything that God life throws at you. And if you choose to embark on a weight loss journey and you are successful and you're losing the weight, you're already increasing the odds that you're going to live a longer life. People say that all the time, right? Oh, well, I'm overweight. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of this. It Fear is not going to get you anywhere positive. You're going to be in a much better place if you just start working on yourself and lose the weight. And then you're going to be in a place mentally and physically where you can deal with those issues as they
Mhm.
pop up.
Alright, I have another let's end on this question, okay? Because
Yeah.
it's a good one.
Yeah. Let's do it.
This is from AMWR, and I don't really know if it's a question or a statement. We're gonna elaborate on this once I'm gonna read this out loud,
Yeah.
how they typed it. "Striving to perfection with your plastic surgeries." That's what it says. And so, you can take that so many different ways. The one thing that tells me is the uneducated part of that is there is no perfection after plastic surgery. So what Teresa and I are doing is skin removals. That's completely different from plastic surgery. It's in the same category, of course it is. But plastic surgery is like this. Oh, I got pregnant with twins. And so I have a little tummy roll here that I can't get rid of no matter how I work it out. I'm going to get it cut off with a tummy tuck. That's plastic surgery. So skin removal is more like, oh, I was over 600 pounds for the majority of my life and my life was debilitating. And I've got 50 pounds of skin I need removed because I've lost so much weight. And to continue on, I need to get this removed so that you can see how it's miles different. So, one thing that needs to be talked about more, and Teresa and I do talk about it a lot with skin removal or plastic, AKA plastic surgery, like you're saying in your comment, perfection is not the goal. This is not something we're going in and getting Botox and lip filler. This is not something that we're going in and getting a haircut and changing our hair color. Like this is perfection is not the goal. A better quality of life is the goal. And so, do I think that people can get wrapped up? Sure. As far as plastic surgeries go, sure. But do I think people can get wrapped up with skin removal? I mean, we're talking about people who have worked their butts off literally. So if they want to get that butt picked up, I say do it. I say do whatever is going to make you feel more confident and whatever is gonna give you the best quality of life, I'm for it. I say do it. That's my answer.
100%. And I want to bring this up because this is just indicative of of the mindset where people don't understand. Tanya and I were actually at a meetup where we were on a panel and we were speaking, and a woman stood up in the audience who I had gone over to and greeted previously. And she was very rude to me and said, I'm not here for you. I'm here for Tanya. And I was like, okay, well, she's my friend and she'll come around and say hello, but I'm gonna greet you anyways. Welcome. And then she took the opportunity when we were in front of a group of several hundred people to stand up and make judgment statements regarding myself and my plastic surgery. And kind of at that time, Tanya had not had plastic surgery. And I know you remember this.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
And I remember sitting there and I wanted to cry because I was like, one, I'm angry. Why are you putting me on the spot? You shouldn't be judging me like this or saying negative things. But basically, she was putting me down and typecasting me as a person from California who was all full of herself and wanted to seek perfection. At the same time, she said about Tanya's like a real woman. She's embracing her loose skin and she's never going to have surgery. Little did they know that we had been talking behind the scenes because we're friends. And Tanya's like, I'm thinking about having skin removal surgery. Now, at that time, I had just had 47 pounds of skin removed. I was in agony. I had rashes all the time. I had to wear towels under my abdomen because it was sweating and uncomfortable. And the clothing, I had to wear sizes 10, 12 sizes bigger than I actually was because of the skin. And I didn't have to say a word. Tanya stood up and
I
checked
did
that lady like you've
because
done
I
so many
mean,
times.
but
If anybody
people,
looks at me sideways,
yeah.
Tanya checks them.
I'll be like, "What are you looking at?" But
Yep.
really, the judgment is ridiculous.
Yes.
And honestly, like I talked about on my live this morning, I was live on Facebook and we were having a conversation about these questions we're going to answer today. And you guys, you got to understand that if you can better your life, do it.
Yep.
You have to let go of what other people may or might think of you. Like that question, and maybe it was just typed out wrong. It's very cynical. It's very saying we're striving to perfection with these plastic surgeries that we're getting now. That is not what it's about. It's
No.
about not having to put towels under your stomach like Teresa was just talking about, not
Yep.
getting boils, not getting rashes. Have you ever smelt underneath someone's stomach?
Or the
Have you
chakra
ever
from your
smelt
thighs.
Yes,
Like,
like, have you ever
hello?
had your thighs rubbed together so much that they're raw and you have to
Or under
sit
your
down?
breasts, raw
Like,
skin. Like,
unless you have
hello?
lived it, you just don't get it and you
Yep.
just don't know unless you have lived it. It
Yep.
is, you have lost all this weight. And again, like Teresa and I both, I kept that loose skin for years. I did not wear it as a badge of honor, as you're going to see in people's comments. Oh, I'm wearing it as a badge of honor. Or don't get that skin removed. It's a reminder of what you. I don't need a reminder because I lived it. I
It's
lived.
there.
It's embedded in my brain the turmoil that I went through as a morbid obese person living in a not morbid obese world, as someone living with loose skin that flapped around when she walked and tried to wave at someone, or whatever you did in life. It was just there and it was stinky and nasty and had bulls and rashes and all of that. Like, I will never forget that. So I don't need to wear it as a badge of honor. I don't need to not get it cut off so I have a reminder of what I remember it every single day of what I don't want to go back to because I lived it.
And I will say this, and we can end it on this note. That 47 pounds of skin, I've said this and you've heard me say it. I gained all of that weight because I was carrying around grief and trauma from losing my mom and my brother. And the day my surgeon said I can remove that skin from you, I literally bawled my eyes out. It was the 20-year anniversary of my brother's suicide. I kid you not. And my surgeon says to me in our consult, I can remove that for you. I didn't think about any of the fact that I would get to wear smaller clothes, that I wouldn't be embarrassed, all those things. What I thought was, I finally get to release this last little bit of grief and trauma and all the things that have reminded me of the horrible things that I've gone through in life. He's going to remove that for me.
Yeah.
So I
The
may still
release is
carry
the
the
word right
emotional.
there.
Exactly. I was
Yeah.
releasing it. I still have the emotional wounds for it, but now I physically feel finally free from all of that stuff that I was carrying around and comments that equate my surgery, my skin removal, or Tanya's, or anyone's skin removal surgery to something that I hate to even say is like the Kardashian style of getting plastic surgery, and no judgment there to any woman or any person who wants to take their own path. It is not the same thing. I was
No.
literally trapped with all of this skin on my body. And anybody who makes a negative comment, you just don't get it. You got to live the experience in order to fully understand. So,
There you go.
there you
And there
go.
you go. It's a release. It really is.
Yeah.
You don't realize, we don't even realize it. And we didn't even realize it until it happened to us.
Yep.
You don't realize what you're holding on to until you're not holding on to it anymore. You don't
Exactly.
realize what you're not healing from
Yep.
until you don't have to heal from it anymore. Like,
Yep.
you don't realize everything that is attached and entrapped in that skin. You don't
Yep.
realize it. And if it's in the cards for you, do it. Don't care for one single second what anybody in the world is going to say, because the only person that matters is you. When it comes to skin removal, I didn't even care what Bobby had to say. I didn't. I mean, did I take him into consideration? Sure. I did not care what even my spouse or my kids. Zach didn't want me to do it. Like, I didn't even care what they thought. When I got the chance, I jumped at it.
Yep.
And now look, like, it's been life-changing. It's life-changing because you're getting it released, just like Teresa just said. It's that release from the old you And it's like you can not really physically embrace your full new self until you get that release.
Yep.
That's where we're
Amen.
gonna end it at today, y'all. We love answering these questions, and I love that you know, I love that people do have the balls to just say whatever to us because that's the
Yeah.
way of the world today. That's the way of the internet, and we're on the
It
internet,
is.
and it's out there, and, you know, we're still gonna answer it. So, keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Teresa and Tonya, unplugged,
Yeah.
unfiltered,
Unfiltered and
unplugged.
unplugged. That's what you
And it's
get.
the same with the questions and comments that we're
Yeah.
getting. Like,
Yeah.
you know what?
Unfiltered and unplugged. Same.
Unfiltered and unplugged. Mic
Good for
drop,
you
we
guys.
out.
Peace. West side. I have a video of Teresa in the car, and she's
You
going,
do.
West side.
You do. I got lots of videos of this thing,
Yes,
though.
you do. Touche. Touche. We love you guys. We'll see you next time.
Next time.